All right, fantastic. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last session of the day. This session is going to be on QField, and Marco is going to take us through that and just show us about this really cool app. So over to you, Marco.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks a lot. Cool that we got to speak about this at Open Day, and really cool that you, Amy, and all your team are taking over the whole burden to organize this great days that we really miss not doing them in person, but with all the work that you're putting in, it's super cool to see what's happening around the QGIS ecosystem. You're welcome. It's a pleasure. It's really, really cool to see that a small idea that Tim and I had in an evening chat, whatever, and now you're just making it amazingly blooming. So really cool. I'm Marco Bernasocchi. You might know me already if you follow a little bit the QGIS community. I'm the QGIS chair. Beside that, or mainly also, I'm the director of OPENGIS.ch. I'll quickly explain what we do later on. As a background, I have a master in GIS at the University of Zurich in Switzerland, and I do love being outside. That's my thing. So when I'm not at the computer, that's as soon as I shut off the computer, I'm out. If you are interested in what I get to, what I post and what kind of things I care about, my surname is a bit complex, but the good thing is that everywhere I have the same handle. So it's Twitter, it's GitHub, it's just everywhere the same. Just get the CCHI at the end and it's all good. If you have any questions as well, you can get in touch with me at marco@opengis.ch. OpenGIS.ch is a small, well, not that small anymore. We are now 13 people. A company based in Switzerland that does QGIS, basically anything that touches QGIS. We are super expert in anything that touches there. We have multiple core committers. We have plenty of Python developers, and we obviously are the developers of QField, which we will be talking about it later. As you see, we are pretty dynamic and young, so we all enjoy a lot being outside, and yeah, it's a bit of a trait of OpenGIS. As I said before, we do QGIS core development, we do plugins, we do QField, we do PostGIS, we do geodata infrastructures. Here again, if you want to follow us, we have plenty of interesting handles. OpenGIS.ch is a bit more company-like, more company language. QField for QGIS, it's obviously what you're here for currently. It's the Twitter channel for QField, and then we have a blog where we try to post regularly pretty technical things. So be it from how to optimize some Python things in QGIS, or how we implemented some feature, and so on and so on. But good, let's go on and start the main part of my presentation. QField. So today I'm going to try to explain to you about QField, and obviously about QField Cloud and QField Sync. So they're all kind of things that you can do with this amazing tool build. So first of all is why QField? Because data is outside. If you are digitizing, if you are surveying, if you are dealing with real world data, very often, I'm not saying always, but very, very often, your data is coming from outside the office. It is true that being in the office, it's really handy. You got your mouse, your keyboard, your big screens, and everything. But being close to the objects you want to digitize, it's actually a big advantage, because you can, for instance, take pictures of it, you can measure it, you can geolocate it correctly, and so on and so on. And that's why I probably now already 7 years ago or so, I started QGIS on Android with the idea that eventually we will dump the work that I did back then and put a nice user interface on top of it and get the best out of the QGIS world. So all the libraries behind QField are the libraries of QGIS. And we put in front of it the beautiful user interface that we have in QField that we will be seeing later on. So for the ones that do not know QField yet, what is it? It's the mobile data collection app for QGIS that allows you to just go out and digitize and look at your data and do whatever you need to do on the field efficiently. It has an extremely minimalist user interface, and that's by design. We do not want to have a cluttered interface that distracts you for what you're actually trying to do. You're in the field, you need to be efficient, you're a professional, you're doing your work, and you don't want to have to fiddle around with a million buttons that just are around. That is why every time we are adding a new button to the user interface, we have a big discussion if that button has the right to be there by default, or if it just needs to appear whenever needed, and we will see more about that paradigm later on. It has beautiful cartography, and obviously here we are not going to take credit for it directly. It is not QField that has beautiful cartography, it is QGIS that has beautiful cartography. Obviously, if you are bad in designing maps, it's not that QGIS is going to make them look good for you, but that's it's not QGIS or it's not any GIS. It's more like a generic GIS or cartography issue. But with QGIS, you really have extremely powerful features that render beautiful maps. You can render amazingly good maps, and we have people in the community that are creating incredible stuff. So it's really always nice to see what other people are creating. And the power of QField is that because it's built on QGIS and at times actually extends QGIS itself. So some things that were built for QField ended up in QGIS itself as well. And that gives us the possibility to have extremely powerful cartography renderings. I said before that we do not want a cluttered user interface, but obviously at times we do need more control. We do have extremely powerful tools. We can merge polygons, we can split them, we can cut islands, plenty of things we'll see later on. And for these, we obviously do need more controls to be on the user interface, but they do only appear when they are needed. So the paradigm here is really keep the interface as simple as possible, as clean as possible, and then only say when I turned on topological editing with freehand drawing, then I'll just turn on all the controls that are required for that specific tool. And that allows us to have an extremely powerful palette of tools with a very lean and clean user interface. I mentioned before, we do always think of efficiency. We want QField to be a professional tool. It is used by, we do have currently about 100,000 active users per month. So it is used in a very wide range of fields. But the main point is for every field is that when you're out in the field, you need to be efficient. So we have plenty of tweaks here and there that allow for multiple operations to be performed more quickly. When you're digitizing a field, you can say, you can just check a click box and the next time you digitize a new feature, that attribute will already preset to the one that you said before. so that if you're digitizing, say, houses, and 9 of the 10 attributes that you need to fill are the same, you just need to fill out the one that it's actually empty, that is actually changing. Sorry, not empty, obviously. And this is something that makes it really, really easy to be efficient. And here in the background, you see multiple editing of data, so you can select multiple data and edit attributes for all of them in bulk. And we'll see more of this later on as well. So plenty of little things to make your life in the field as a professional more efficient. We do obviously have plenty of integrations with the system you're running on. So you can take pictures. You can obviously use all the GNSS information from the device you're on. You can attach documents and so on. Yeah. And as I mentioned before, we want QField to be your work companion. So we do test it with professional hardware. We have it tested on Trimbles. We have it tested on rugged devices. We have it tested with external GNSSs from that can give you up to sub-centimeter precision. So it's really something that it's been driven by a lot of engineering companies that use the tool for their engineering needs, and that's why we are also testing it in collaboration with other companies that produce hardware and give us the hardware to test the tool on, and allow us to see if everything runs smoothly or not. I think the QFieldCloud part will get a bigger bunch of attention later on, so I'm not going to get into here, and I'm going to quickly show you how to work with QField by itself. So the idea is that first of all, you prepare your work on the desktop. So you have your own QGIS project, which you already have been tweaking, and your maps look amazingly beautiful, and you have all the fields that you need, and so on. And then as soon as you know that you're going to use the project on a device on the field, you might want to tweak some things on the project. Maybe you don't have all the attributes that need to be shown when you are digitizing. Maybe you want to add a picture field or multiple picture fields. You want to have relations that are a bit different. So usually you do have a step where you go and optimize the project for the field, again for the same reason of allowing your people on the field to be efficient. Obviously, you can take the project as you have it. QField will make the best out of it, and you can use it one-to-one. But ideally, preparing a project for the field involves a little bit of tweaking so that your team on the field can work more efficiently. Once you did all that, you deploy the project to your users, to your team, and that can be done via QFieldCloud, or it can be done via cable, or we've seen solutions with Dropbox, and so it's up to you. But basically, QFieldCloud is going to be the easiest way to deploy your project to your team. And then your people on the field can go out and work and do the digitizing they need to do, and they can just push changes back to QFieldCloud whenever they have connectivity, and the data gets back to the cloud and back to you, to the office, seamlessly. So what do you have in QField? Powerful feature forms. I'm going to show you a couple of videos now so that you can see what we can do. Some of the things are the basics. So you do expect to have a range, to have text, to have numbers, and some things are a bit more hidden. For example, here you already saw a constraint. As long as I didn't put a beekeeper name in there, the beekeeper was red, and it showed me what kind of constraint was failing, and I could not save the attribute until I had fixed the constraint. Then, sorry. Next one. We can see visibility control. So we have fields that are dependent on other fields. Here, for example, if something is not infected, well, there is no need to show the sickness that is the kind of disease that is infected, because that just doesn't make sense. So here also, all to make life easier on the field. Then obviously we have a camera integration. That's kind of expected, but we do have a couple of special widgets that are pretty neat too. So the camera integration, you can have either a single field as an attribute to your data, and when you here that's a video artifacts that it turned the phone. So when you take the video, the camera, it attaches the picture, but we can also attach PDFs like you just saw. I'm gonna see it again later on. And we could also create a multiple camera kind of a gallery where you have a table for all the pictures, and you're just storing multiple pictures attached to a certain feature. Then I mentioned we have some pretty neat tools. We support QML widgets, which means that you can basically create your own interactive widgets based on HTML, on an HTML-like language and JavaScript, which can use the data coming from your project. For example, when we see here now the beekeeper productivity, that's not an image, that's a dynamic generated chart based on the data that are visible on the map. And here is a JavaScript button that we can press on to get more information based on whatever data we are seeing currently.
Marco, I don't think we're seeing everything you're showing because we didn't see the chart and the. Oh, there it's showing now. Okay.
Sorry. Do you see now the videos?
There's a little bit of a lag, but the things are coming up. There's just a lag between what you're saying and what video is coming up.
Whoa. Okay. How big is the lag so I can stop speaking for a while?
Well, I can now see multi-attribute editing. So.
Oh wow! So that's like that's like a minute or so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so there is definitely a lag behind, unfortunately.
Okay. Let me see. So you're seeing multi-attribute editing now.
Yeah, it's gone on to help on beekeeping. Okay, so now it's gone. I think it's now live again because I can see powerful feature forms, etc.
Okay.
Things that you're going through. Yeah.
Good. So it was just stuck somehow, probably. Okay, I'll just start again.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. Not the whole way. The feature forms. Yes, here we see the standard kind of things that I was mentioning before, where we have just constraints and text and ranges. Here we should be seeing now the picture. Sorry, now I'm a bit confused. The visibility control, where we can turn on a field depending on another field. And let's go to the camera. Here we should be seeing now the camera integration, where we can add one picture, or we can also use files. So we can also add a PDF. I mean, it's not this very same thing. Obviously, in the configuration, you say if you want a picture or a file, but we can add PDFs easily to your data. And then, hopefully working now with the chart, back to where we were supposed to be earlier on. This chart that you're seeing now, hopefully, is generated from the data that you're actually seeing on the map. So it is a QML widget that you can configure in QGIS itself, and you can do in there animation, interactivity via JavaScript, and using QML. So it's a super powerful feature there that really can get you a lot out of your data. I hope you can see that now. Then multi-attribute editing. I mentioned before, we can edit multiple things at the same time. We just basically select the feature that we want to edit via long press, and then we can go and edit all attributes at once. Or not all attributes, we can go and edit whatever attribute we want and have it set to the new value. So we can go and change all the beekeepers of a certain region to the sea, and that's gonna take us exactly selecting all features that we want to edit and setting the beekeeper to Lucy. So this is really, really powerful and really time saving feature. Then relation integrations. We can have dependencies, so you can have relations between a layer and another layer, where, for example, you see, okay, this beehive goes and feeds mainly on this field, and so on. So we have end-to-end relations here visible, and you can add new, as we just saw, we can add a new relation directly on the field, and we can also go and edit children objects. We support map teams. If you do work with map teams, that's amazing, because you can just have a quick switch for people on the field to just quickly change whatever they are seeing. You can pre-configure in the same project, the same map theme, and have them quickly change the whole rendering of the legend, of the map, and of everything on the go with just a quick change on a drop-down menu. So really, really handy way to work there. We have a super powerful search, which can search in attributes, in coordinates, and lately also in some national geodata infrastructure. Currently, we support the Finnish geodata infrastructure because that was a feature that was sponsored by a Finnish company. And we are planning, obviously, now to add the Swiss geodata infrastructure to it, so that you can actually just, in the search, you can actually just query the national geodata infrastructure, like the locator plugin does for, the locator plugins do for QGIS. Basically, we are doing something similar in QField. We have a measuring tool, just a quick tool to, when you're on the field, you just quickly need to check something. You can go into the measuring mode, you're getting distances, you're getting areas, you're getting perimeters. It's handy for just the quick thing on the field that you need to check. And that's that's really handy to just have a look around on what your data looks like. Then to the geometry features, as I mentioned before, we have a pretty powerful geometry editing capabilities. We have a split tool, we have a merge tool, we can create islands, we can work with topology enabled. That's the little icon here to the left. So you see here we just split the polygon and then we just merge it again. Then we can go and edit every single vertex with the vertex tool. That is it's super handy because it allows you to go to the point that you actually want to move around and put it to the right place. We do obviously support snapping, so it's you're seeing now the snapping. When the cursor gets a bit bigger, it's because it has snapped. So we do have very, very powerful editing here. Things like filling rings, creating rings. So it's really, you can do a lot of things with your geometries out on the field. With still having a very comfortable user interface to go with. Next one, showing a bit more of snapping and a bit of a more like showing a bit better the snapping part of the thing. For example, fixing your geometries, you can just enable snapping, and then you'll go and move the data to have clean data. And this is supporting topology checks as well. So you will not have topologically incorrect data that are created by QField if you turn on the topology checks. You'll see now that basically the both elements now got corrected and not only the purple field. GPS and tracking, probably something that's very expected nowadays from an app like this. We can set an interval every how much time a point needs to be stored, or we can also set a distance from the previous point, and then we can just start moving around and tracking the data that we are interested in. Another super interesting feature in QField that has just gotten even much better in the last version, I'll talk about that later on, is that we can print layouts. Basically, if your QGIS project has a print layout in it, then you can print it with the current map extent. What we implemented in the latest version is that we are now able to actually print atlases. I'll show you later on the changelog. We haven't updated the presentation yet because it's still in the beta version that is not released yet. But basically, what you can do now is select which feature you're interested in, and you get an atlas, a print atlas generated for that. For all the feature that you actually selected. It creates a PDF, and you can do whatever you want with your PDF. Then starting from version 1.8 that we released a couple of months ago, we added freehand drawing. So you can now, if you have a tablet with a pen, with a stylus, you can just hand draw whatever you're interested in, set your attributes, and then you get your polygon done. The incredible thing here is when you start doing hand drawing in connection with topological editing. So when we turn on topological editing, basically as we see in the video currently, you can just end draw, and QField will just cut your feature in a way that they are topologically consistent with the feature that you overlapped. So you see here the potential for drawing really quickly it's amazing. You can just go and digitize in, I don't know, 10 seconds maybe here, a whole huge field. And you know that you will have no overlaps over the layers that you declared as non-overlapping. So really, really handy and really really neat feature to work fast on the field. QField on iOS. Yes, we do have a running version of QField on iOS. We haven't published it yet. We are finalizing some more work, and I guess that by maybe a couple of months now, we're going to be publishing it. So also for the people that are going to the field with their iOS devices, very good news here. Near Android, which is the main development platform currently, and the main use platform as well, and then Windows, we will also have QField on iOS. As of 1.7.6, which was already 4 months ago, we had 300,000 downloads. As I mentioned before, QField has a rough usage of 100,000, 95 to 100,000 active users per month. Currently, like last month, I just for the month of February. So the downloads are also increasing pretty fast. So I wouldn't be too surprised if I haven't checked since 1.7.6. I wouldn't be too surprised if we were already at 350 or maybe close to 400,000 downloads. Obviously, it's an open source tool. Everything we do is on GitHub, and everything is public. For a while, we had all the cloud development was done in a separate repo. Now everything has been merged into master as well. If you go to the Play Store and install QField, then you can get two versions. One which is the production ready one, and the other one which is called QField Dev. You're basically getting a master build that gets published every time. Obviously, being experts in QField and having created all the libraries for it, we can also adapt it to custom apps, but that's not something that I want to go into in this presentation. In case you're interested in something custom based on QField, just get in touch with me. Cool. Now let's move to the next bit. Hopefully the presentation is moving along as well.
Yep, no, it's moving well.
Good, perfect. Then just quickly showing what is coming up. So what we've seen up to now was up to version 1.8. And now we have 1.9, which is out already in beta. So if in Google Play you say that you want to join the beta program, you'll get 1.9 already, actually 1.9.1. And which support the search for the finished addresses, which I mentioned before, and this amazing feature of print atlas feature to PDFs. So basically, what happens here is you select which features you're interested in it, and say print atlas feature, and you're getting a PDF. As you see on the right image here, you're getting a PDF with the atlas of all the features that you've been selecting. So that's super neat. And then something else that is it's really cool is that now you can use QField to open just about any geodata that you happen to have on your device. You do not need a project anymore. If you have a geo package on your device, you just say open with QField, and it will create a project on the fly for you. It will put an OpenStreetMap layer in the background there, and it will load all the layers of your geo package with the logic of polygons, lower lines, and then points over it. You can obviously open shapefiles with it if you still work with shapefiles, geo packages, GeoTIFF, whatever. All the formats that are supported by QGIS basically work also this way. And you can use it to open GeoPDFs as well. So if you have gotten a GeoPDF by somebody, it will open up your GeoPDF and place it at the right, like you see here on the image. The background is the OpenStreetMap layer that got created on the fly, and the GeoPDF geometry gets put at the right place so that actually the overlap is correct. Then we added progressive rendering so that when you're moving your map, actually it's gotten much faster because we reuse what we already have on the image, and we only re-render things when they are needed to be rendered. And we remember the last map extent that you've been using when you closed the project. Yeah, that's about it for the version 1.9 coming. 1.9.1 was released 4 days ago. We usually tend to release the .4 patch version to the wide audience, so I'd expect 1 more month of testing, of beta testing. But as I said before, you can just go to the Play Store and join the beta program, and you'll already get 1.9. Now, to the second part of the talk, QFieldCloud and what we've been building. Basically, our tool for seamless fieldwork, for making all the efficiency that is already possible thanks to QField, making it even more advanced or more seamless, because as of now, the main pain point with QField was that once you were done with your work, you had to go and get the data out of the device in some way, be it cable, be it email, be it Dropbox, whatever. And with QFieldCloud, now all these hassles is gone, and you can just seamlessly push the thing. It has the capability of working online or offline, and you don't have to decide ahead anymore. So currently, you had to decide if you wanted to work on an offline project. In that case, everything would work, even if you landed in a place like this lady landed. Or you could say, no, well, I don't care. I'm going to be working everywhere where there is connectivity, and I'll just want the data to automatically go to my centralized server, and then you were doing the online workflow. What you can do now with QFieldCloud is that you basically don't care anymore. You can still say, I still want it to go completely online directly, immediately, or you could still say, I still want it to work offline. But when you're in offline mode, you can push things to the cloud, so you can synchronize back. And that allows you to basically seamlessly work independent of if you have connectivity or not. QFieldCloud takes over team management, so you can have your teams, you can assign different rights to different people in the team and for each project. So you can say that Marco is admin on this project, whereas Lucy is only a reporter on that project, and on another project, Lucy is a manager. So we have granular levels of, so we have 5 different levels of permissions that you can have on a project, from just seeing the project to being completely administrator. It is a web-based control panel that I'm going to show after, and it is open source. So the whole QFieldCloud application is open sourced. It's based on Django, so you can take it, you can do whatever you want with it, do your own amazing tool. and then go out and rock. Hopefully, if you start doing your own customization, you also participate in making QFieldCloud better by doing everything like what we are doing in QGIS, like all these companies working together, making QGIS an amazing product. And this is basically what we are looking forward to with QFieldCloud as well. How does it work? It basically has two ways of functioning. The main one that we are gonna publish, well, we already published it. We are currently in private beta, so we invited, we have some handpicked users that are currently testing everything, and what the plans are to basically now starting inviting all the people that have subscribed for the waiting list in stage like batches. So we are going to open up the first 50 people that subscribe, and they're going to get an invitation, and so on. And basically, every person that it's invited can invite other persons, but they will also be behind. They will also be batched. So we are stacking up slowly, but I think that in a couple of months we're going to be through all the invitations, and then it's going to be open for subscription. So hopefully you subscribed early on and you're going to be in the first batches. And if not, it just requires a little bit of patience. So how does it work? We do have a central piece of code that is QFieldCloud, the Django application, and this one speaks to your devices, speaks to the web interface, and to QGIS itself. And in the background, it connects to your own database. So I said before, we have two ways of working. One is database based, and one is file based. The first one that we have been working on, which for us was the most important one, was the one based on a PostGIS as a data storage. So basically what happens is that QFieldCloud will take offline, so we'll make synchronizations between whatever happens on your devices and your own database. So it's seamlessly synchronizing everything that comes from the database to the devices, and from the devices back to the database. This is the one working mode, and the other working mode is basically the same, just instead of having a PostGIS database, we have a geo package, which is local on QFieldCloud, and all that gets done is stored into that geo package, and then you can get your geo package down from QGIS with the QFieldCloud plugin. Very important for us is the point that you can use PostGIS as a backend. We really think that PostGIS is the superior or the best way to deal with your with geodata, to have a proper geodata infrastructure. So it could be your integration database there, and then if you want, you have another database where you're getting your data back from the integration database. That's all up to you. But basically, QFieldCloud can and does connect to a PostGIS database and works with it. For the first people that will get registered into QFieldCloud, so the ones that are testing now, and the first batches that we are opening up, it will be specifically for the PostGIS use case. The data-based, the geo-package-based use case, we already have it working as well, but we have it only in the development phase. We don't have it on the production yet. So to start using immediately. As soon as we invite you, QFieldCloud, you will require our PostGIS database. As I said before, it's open source, so you can just take the service that we offer on QField.cloud, or you are able to roll it out on your own cloud. We can support you there. We can roll it out for you, but basically you have these two opportunities there. If you take the hosted version in Switzerland, our hosted version, it's hosted in actually a place that doesn't really look much different than this picture. That's actually a place in Switzerland, and the data center that we are using is actually in the mountains and actually close to a lake. So it's run by hydroelectrical power, and it's cooled by the temperature that we have currently, and it's never really too hot, so it's actually basically natural cooling. We're gonna have three. Oh, that's the wrong. Sorry, a second. I need to reload. There we go. Well, we're gonna have 3 plans. Obviously, we will have sorry, there is a bit of an error down in the slide. We will have a community account, which is gonna be free and has everything you need to work and get started on a file-based project only. Then we're gonna have a more advanced tool where you can integrate with your PostGIS, and you have larger data hosting storage, and then we have the team a team account where you basically have collaboration on private projects, the whole team management, and here we do invoice only users that actually were active during the month. So if you have maybe 20 people going out in the field in general over the year, but only 2 or 3 people go out on a given month, you don't get invoiced for 20, you get invoiced for the 3 person only. This is because we think that our goal is to make life easier. So we do not want people to have to switch license usernames and so on, just because now it's not Marco going to the field, but somebody else. And this way you can get an account for each of your members of the team. And then only when they are really working out in the field, they get invoiced. If you have any questions, QField.cloud or @QFieldCloud on Twitter are the places to go. And at the end of the presentation, now I still have a small, I want to show you how it looks like, obviously. So let me go to the next bit and show you how the complete workflow looks like. So everything starts with a QGIS project. You have your own QGIS project. For the users of QField here, you might recognize that that's the demo project that I'm using in the background. And all I do is basically starting QField Sync and going to the, installing QField Sync, obviously. And then I go to the project properties, and you'd see that there is a QField tab to the left. And here I can just say, well, I prefer offline layers because I just want to be working whenever it works and don't care about network or not. If I go to the advanced settings, I can see what that actually means. It basically means that the QField user layer, which is a PostGIS layer, gets offline editing capability, and OpenStreetMap, it's actually a WMTS, so it still stays as a WMTS, but down low, I can create a base map, and I can say, actually, yeah, create a base map out of the OpenStreetMap layer, and it will just do an offline copy of it for me. Obviously, the more layers you have, the more layers you will see here, and you can configure them if they need to go to the cloud, or if you don't want them, you can also just say ignore them in the cloud, and so on. Then the next step is creating a new cloud project. So I just, in QField Sync, I say create new project. I can set where the project is based on my computer, who the owner is, if it's a private project or not. I can set metadata and so on, and which files are part of the project. Once that's done, I can go to the publishing interface of QField Sync. And here I can say, okay, you can see how many projects I have on my development machine, on the development version of QField. You'll see that I have my 5 projects here, and I actually just created one project specifically for this demonstration. And here my live QField user demo is ready to be pushed. And when I push, QField Sync will ask me, hey, cool. So I noticed that you have a QGIS file, and I will upload it, which it will replace the file on the cloud if it's okay for you. If I say yes, that's really good. Or if I say no, actually I just screwed up everything and I want to download the file that I had pushed previously on the cloud, I can just check the other checkbox and it will download. And that's about it. Now my QGIS file gets pushed and it's up on the cloud ready to be used. On the side, I go and check my WebGIS, which is also already configured to use the same project. That's the beauty of QGIS, is that you can have one project and reuse it the whole time. It's all configured, and you'll see that here in northern Norway there are no points. Now, when I open QField on the device, I can go to the Cloud Projects tab, which you already are getting on the development version of QField. And here you see all my projects that I have stored and that I have access to. Currently, I'm on my own project tab. I could go to the community tab, and that's the projects that are public. Here I can open my live QField user survey demo, and I can send Lucy and I think it was Ivan to northern Norway. I know they really like cold weather, so I send them up there to digitize 2 independent points from each other. And and I forgot to mention, if you look up at the top, you'll see that there is a little airplane, because I wanted to simulate not having connectivity. So up there is no 3G, no 4G, no 5G. You're just on your own on the ice. And then I tried to push my changes. Obviously, there is a network error because I have no connectivity. Remember, this is a bit red and verbose. That's because we want it this way currently in the development version. Obviously, in the production version, there will be a nice error saying, hey, you might not have connectivity, so you'd better move to somewhere where you have network so that we can push your changes up. And that's exactly what I did next. And you see down at the bottom, changes were successfully pushed to QField Cloud. So that's all that basically needs to be done on QField to have your data pushed to the cloud. On QField Cloud web panel, you see that oops, sorry, I went back. That change came in and it's pending, and then I got the wrong slide. Basically, it's pending. Something didn't go the way it went. I reapplied the deltas, and here I got the first point that I had done before, and now the changes from Lucy and from Ivan that were up in northern Norway are also being applied. You see, my change that I did before is already applied, and QField Cloud is now busy applying the new points. That goes about 3 seconds. So I really had to couple of times to do the screenshot so I could get that it was really busy. And soon after everything is applied, And we'll see in my WebGIS, now I changed, I didn't use the ListMap viewer anymore. I use the QGIS web client so that you can actually see it's all can be integrated to the way that you want everything to work. The 3 points are there, and all happen without cables, without any problems for the users on the field. They just need to obviously go somewhere where they have connectivity, but that could also be the Wi-Fi in the evening at their hotel or satellite phone in their tent. Hope that makes sense to everybody. And if you have any questions, I still have a bit of time. We still have a bit of time. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate going ahead.
Alrighty, thank you so much. There are a couple of questions on the live chat, which I'll ask you. We are running a little bit low on time. There are 5 minutes left on the stream, but if it does stop, I will restart it so we can continue answering questions. I'll do my best there.
Yeah.
So the first question is from John, and he asks, have you had any success with integrating with a GNSS or a TS equipment with Leica, GNSS or TS?
We do have plenty of people that are using external GNSSs without any issues. Yeah.
Okay, great stuff. So then the next question is from Sertic, and they ask, he says that they're thinking of using QField in my project. How can I integrate a laser meter to QField? Is there any way to do that?
Not yet. That's something that we would need to. We have been having some thoughts. We can currently what we can take in are all the NMEA information coming from an external GNSS device. We cannot take other measuring in yet.
All right. Next question. Not using QFieldCloud, how would you sync data from, say, 30 surveys? Are there more efficient ways than having 30 separate upload folders and have someone sync every single folder by hand in QGIS?
Well, that's why we developed QFieldCloud, because it was a pain. I don't know, 30 different services. Probably, if you have connectivity, probably connecting directly to a server would be the easiest way, so that your data is directly going to a PostGIS server or a WFS service. But that's exactly why we've developed QFieldCloud. Yeah.
Okay, well, that actually feeds into the next question quite nicely. The next question is, may I do addition of online or offline using a WFST?
Mm-hmm. Yes, even even if it's authenticated, or it does. We do support WFST. Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah. Next question: is it possible to add a layer from a device to an existing project?
Not yet. But that's a really good point. I mean, we set all the base now to open layers until version 1.8. You had to add a project to open it up, and now since the last changes that we implemented, you can actually open layers without a project. So I don't see that step being too far away. But currently, no.
Okay, next is how does QFieldCloud handle conflicts on synchronization? Is there a possibility to integrate the data with a validation step in the workflow?
Yes. So what happens is that we create deltas of the data that get pushed, and here. So you can see here, that's not the project that I was showing before. I'm sorry. I need to go back and go to the survey demo and go to the changes. So there are a couple of things that happen. No, stupid me. The other one is better to show. There are a couple of things that happen. So when there is a change happening on the tablet or on a mobile, they get pushed as a differential file. So the changes get stored, and if you have conflicts, you will have a possibility to solve conflicts here on the web UI. And that's what I showed on a slide where it said that it was not applied yet. It's because there was a conflict, and I then had to apply it manually and decide which change do I want to apply. A data validation step ideally gets done by exposing your integration database. So what people are doing on the field is going to the integration database, and then from the integration database, you take the data, you validate them, and move them to your production. That can be also done all automatically, not because of QFieldCloud, but because of triggers in PostGIS. There are plenty of solutions that are doable there, yeah. But if you have conflicts at the level of QFieldCloud, say that Amy deleted a point that I modified, then QFieldCloud will tell me that I have a conflict and will ask me what to do for the conflict on the web interface. All right.
John has actually qualified his question. He said that he was asking specifically about Leica, L-E-I-C-A, equipment, as we've not been able to make it work.
Okay, so if it's specifically to Leica, I would need to know which device he's talking about. We've been working, we've been testing Trimbles and MLID are kind of the two devices that we tested most. Because we had no company using the Leica device and asking us to test it on it. So ideally, he would get in touch with us, with me, and with the details on what device it is, and we'll see if there is an issue or what. Yeah.
Okay, the next two questions are kind of related. The one says, is QFieldCloud live now? And the other one says, do you know when QFieldCloud will be released? Is it at the same time will it be free for use? And will you provide a container kind to deploy the custom QField Cloud?
Okay, many questions. Is it live now? Yes, it is in a private beta. It means you need to get invited to get in, but it is running. And people are testing it. There is an invite system in there where people can invite other people. So we are kind of just like letting slowly in everybody that subscribed to the mailing list. We're also going to send out all this information on a mailing list next week. So that's for the first question, which was if it's live. Second question, when will it be completely public? I'd say in a couple of months. Should be like we do need some time to test the amount of load that we are getting with the fewer and increasing number of users, so that we actually can provide the great service that we want to everybody. We do not want to start now with, I mean, you know, we have 100,000 active downloads out, active users out there. If we just open it, and even if it's only 10% of the users that say I'm going to subscribe, it's going to make 10,000 users immediately. We're going to be going from 0 to 10,000 users, and that's not something we want, because we don't know we don't know how much load we will get out of this. So that's why we are batch opening up to people that subscribe to the mailing list, to the waiting list. So just go to QField.cloud and subscribe to the waiting list there, and you get an invite as soon as possible. Yeah. Second question. Third question was if we are going to provide some containerized thing. We don't know yet exactly. Currently, we are just the old work that we do is on GitHub. So currently, we are focused on getting the hosted version out and running and solid, so that everybody can use it. Making I mean, we are using containers already, so it's a probably yes sort of answer. Yeah. And then the third question, will it be the fourth question? Sorry, will it be free for use? Yes, there will be, as I mentioned before, a free plan with obviously a limited amount of storage, but it's going to be fully functioning. The only thing that we are not going to be offering on the free plan is the integration with an external database, because that's a very expensive code-wise kind of thing. So people can just use the full file base with geo packages.
And would you mind just popping up your slide again with your contact emails? Because there are a couple of more in-depth questions that I think people would really benefit from being able to talk to you further.
That's not the one. There you go.
So the Marco at OPENGIS.ch is best.
Yes.
All right. So I think for further questions, because there are some quite technical ones. I mean, I'll fire another one at you. But another one from John is, how much code / infrastructure does QFieldCloud and merge and share, if any? Is it suitable to have two solutions?
How much code we share? I think none currently, as far as I know. Is it suitable to have two solutions? I cannot say yes or no. I don't know. We never tried to have the both running parallel. It's honestly, I don't know. It's probably going to be working because we, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. We never tried to have both solutions running on parallel.
Okay, brilliant stuff. I have just put that information that you've set up in the comments. So if anyone does have any more sort of in-depth questions, do please go and ask there. And I'm going to round up the session because we've got a little over time. But I just wanted to thank you so much for coming in, explaining that to you. It's a really fantastic, tried and tested application that I think is very relevant for any of us in QGIS and the GIS greater world, because most of our data comes from the field. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy, for organizing everything. Thanks.
No trouble. No trouble at all.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
And you.